budgeting, cash flow, and taxes, and helping you get paid faster at your MSP. This is what we're going to be covering in this video. So if you're an MSP and you're struggling to keep your finances in order, this is going to be a fantastic video for you. And even if you're not at that point or you're just starting out, this is good. This is going to help you avoid the pitfalls, the problems, all of that kind of stuff. That's what this video is specifically designed to help you with. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even some business operations. Before I get into today's video, I do want to just take a quick second to say two really quick things here. We're going to jump into my computer. One is, if you could go check out our new website, growth-generators.com. I would love just feedback on it. Hey, I like it. I don't like it. I've rewritten pretty much everything on the entire site. I've changed some things. I would love some feedback on that. We put a lot of work into it. We wanted to make sure it really spoke to the MSP community, because that is the only people we serve. And the second thing is you guys have been sleeping on probably one of my favorite giveaways. So I shouldn't say giveaways, but giveaways, truly, because it's free. It's a free battle card. So if you're struggling with your sales or your marketing, this is a free little battle card. You can even print it out. It's like a 3x5. I don't sell anything. You can grab it, once again, completely for free. It's like a 3x5, or it's how I formatted it, card, and it gives you some quick actionable tips on sales. It gives you a quick sales process. It also gives you a bunch of marketing tips and tricks to help you be more successful. I will also leave a link down to that down in the video description and podcast description if you're listening to it, which is also conveniently available now on the website. If you go over to resources, you can see the Apple podcast and Spotify podcast. So let's talk about getting you paid, because it's important, right? We have to make sure that we get paid as MSPs here, and I'm already going to prep with the fake money, but it's important. If we wouldn't start the business if we weren't looking to make money and get paid on things. So we have to do a couple different things, right? Right off the bat, we have to budget. And this is probably the area where things can go awry the quickest, because if you're anything like me, you probably have a little bit of maybe shiny object syndrome, right? You are the type of person that loves to have the new toys, the greatest tech. I mean, just down here alone, there's microphones, battery packs, the list goes on and on and on, right? And that's only one of the areas with technology. So you're probably something like me. And this is where subscriptions can get out of hand and start to crush you. But there are some tools that you should be tracking. You should be tracking all of the tools, and every time you swipe your credit card. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some programs that'll make your life a little easier as well. But the core tools that you're going to need are obviously pretty simple. You're going to need your RMM tool, your PSA tool, right? Sometimes those are combined. Some antivirus. You're probably also going to need a CRM, a customer relationship manager. As you guys know, I love Go High Level. It also comes, a full version of Go High Level comes with your MSP Heroes membership. I will also leave a link down below. And one of the other things that I don't really talk about, because it's truthfully unsexy, is you do need some kind of accounting software. And I'm going to share my screen here because I've just pulled up the two most common accounting softwares out there. You have QuickBooks, and then you have Xero, Xero. Now, which one do you pick? Truthfully, I would find an accountant that you think you're going to work with and ask them what they like, because the worst thing in the world is asking somebody to use a program that they absolutely hate. I was actually thinking about going with Xero, and my accountant was like, don't do that. I don't like that program. He's like, go with QuickBooks. It's just what I know. I said, great. And I trust him. He's been well worth the money I spend with him every single year. So keep that in mind. And your accounting software is going to help you with keeping track of your labor costs, technicians, contractors, outsourcing, anything like that. We need to see it. At the end of the year, and even throughout the year, you're going to see what's called a P&L sheet, a profit and loss sheet. This is kind of your manifest of what's going on in the business, money coming in, money coming out, and where that money's actually being spent. But some other things that we should track pretty aggressively is marketing and lead generation cost. Now, marketing, I have seen people, for lack of a better term, light money on fire. I don't know why. They just want to go out and spend money with a marketing firm or something of that nature, and it just doesn't end up working well. But also lead generation. Where are you spending the money that you're going to hopefully get back, right? Those are important things. Are you spending the money on video editing? Are you spending the money on hiring talent? Are you spending the money on ads? Those are things that we need to track. And then one of the things that kind of flies under the radar I see all too often is, especially in newer MSPs, is office expenses, insurance, because you got to pay for it, and utilities, because people just write that off as like, hey, that's just part of your operating expense. And it's true. While it is, we still need to track it because this is going to be important for the end of the year. And I want to give you a little bit about some monthly budgeting that you need to know and what's fixed versus variable, right? Allocating revenue for growth, tools, and staff and marketing is important. You have your fixed costs and then you have your variable costs, right? You those fixed costs are costs that are basically set in stone. Subscriptions, right? It could even, depending on who you talk to, utilities or insurance could usually fall into the fixed cost. But your variable cost could be labor, could be outsourcing. It could be anything where there's variation in the bills. And these are just good things to know about as you progressively grow through your business. But I always recommend, truly, if you're going through this, and I've spoken to thousands of you guys at this point, and the every time I ask that, like, hey, do you have a rainy day fund or anything like that? This consistently comes up. And the general rule of thumb is 10 to 15% for unexpected costs, right? Of your total revenue. If you could keep that. So if you make $1 million, I know it sounds crazy, have 10 or 15% of that laid off to the side. It might take you a while to get there, 4 slow months, but thankfully, that's usually pretty rare in this industry, but it's good to have that there, a rainy day fund, because things do happen. You might have to go out, you might be one of the key employees in the business, you might be working in the business instead of on the business, right? There's a whole bunch of variations there. Usually 1 to 3 months is a good safety point. Thankfully, we make monthly recurring revenue, but I did want to put it in there, especially if you are a newer MSP or you don't have strong contracts or you think things could kind of fall out from underneath you. It's important. Now, cash flow is the name of the game in this industry, and cash flow is king for MSPs specifically. That's probably why you went in business, because we get MRR, monthly recurring revenue. And that's why having a emergency fund is important. But there's also going to be, that emergency fund can be used for major upgrades. Maybe you need a new server, maybe you need a new switch, whatever it is for your own business. Maybe you need to upgrade everyone's computer. Keep that in mind. It doesn't just have to be like, oh, a client fired me. No, it could be used for a variety of different things. But there are some quick cash flow strategies that I want to kind of help give you to help make your life a good bit easier. Obviously, we're going to offer monthly recurring revenue plans to our clients. We don't really want to do break fix, it doesn't work. I shouldn't say that. It can work for certain businesses, but for MSPs, you typically want to try to avoid that as much as possible. But you also want to collect payments upfront as often as possible. And that brings me to one of a company I met recently, and they have a really, really cool product. I am not affiliated with this company by any stretch of the imagination, but they do, if you are in the Discord, they do have a program that'll help you guys out. It'll give you some extra benefits here, but it's called Alternative Payments. And I'm going to do a deep dive. I've already asked them for a demo account just to show you guys because it gets you paid, right? If you have invoices that are stacking, right? Auto pay rules. If it's more than 2 days past due, you can apply the rules and get paid. You could pay in installments if things are going wrong. It's a pretty cool software. I have a bunch of members in the MSP Heroes membership and then also in the Discord that are using them, but getting paid is important, and I've seen their demo. The worst thing, and truly, when I started my own business, was getting paid. And I would send out invoices and I would never hear back. I didn't collect credit card information. I would just went on the honor system in good faith. And let me tell you, that was the worst mistake ever because I had people consistently way overdue for invoices. I was irritated. I was short on cash when I should have been making it. All of these things, right? There are so many ways to get paid. And just truth be told, this is one of the many ones. And I say this because There is programs like QuickBooks and Zero which will auto bill, but they won't auto collect. And collecting that money is the most important aspect of all of this. Yes, you want to automate your invoicing and try to get paid immediately, but it is important to have a program that really you could just, hey, do you mind if I keep a credit card on file? If something is out of scope, we'll just add it up and tally it up, and then we'll just bill you after, 30, 60, 90 days, or hey, as soon as we're done or the close out of the month, whatever it is that is for your business. But it's important to know that there are programs out there that can get you paid quicker. Now, I mentioned taxes and full transparency. I am not a tax expert. I just know a little bit about taxes. Depending on where you live, I would highly recommend consulting a local tax expert. But I will tell you, every government under the sun, as far as I know, wants to get paid for your work. Just how it goes. You got to pay the man. It is what it is, right? Keeping track of your income and expenses is vital. The equipment, right? Those variable costs, those fixed costs, software, marketing, subscriptions are all things that, depending on where you live, could be tax deductible. Here in the United States, typically they are, right? And depending on where you live, you might want to do quarterly tax payments. You want to do tax planning. So if you know that you're going to be making X amount of money in a year, taking off a couple bills of that to say, hey, this is for taxes. This is what I have to send the government to allow me to continue to operate. It's important to know that. Depending on where you live, it could be 25 to 30% of your income. Once again, your local state, country is all going to vary tremendously. But truthfully, the last thing you want to do, and I stink at this. Full transparency, I am a human too. I stink at tax planning. I happily pay my accountant money to make sure that we have money at the end of the year to say, hey, this is tax money, right? Money that I don't get to ever see because it goes right to the government. So it's important to have that knowledge. If you want to take it one step further, I highly recommend getting a CPA involved as soon as possible. They're going to help you setting up or can help you set up filing for your business, whether it's an LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever it might be that you decide to choose is best for you. But they're also going to tell you and teach you and hopefully guide you to running a more successful business. And if you stink at money, maybe hiring a bookkeeper is also another option for you. But the key to this whole thing is getting paid faster and more efficiently, right? One of the biggest things that I see with MSPs of all sizes, from just starting out to multi-million dollars, I've had conversations with the entire gamut. Late payments are irritating, and clients know that they are dodging invoices. Sometimes, truthfully, clients forget, but nobody wants to follow up. Nobody wants to sit there and say, oh, you owe me money, you owe me money, you owe me money. It's important to understand that. Stay on top of your billing. In the beginning, when you first start your business, you're excited. You can't wait for that money to hit your account. But most people, including myself, I thought the same way. It does wear off after a little while. And you're like, just pay me what you owe me. Make my life easy. Just keep that in mind. But how to get paid faster, truly, that's where alternative payments comes into play. And this is not an ad for them. They're not giving me any money to make this. There are competing products to what they have, but these guys, from what I've seen, provide one of the best, if not the best program, and it's fairly inexpensive for MSPs to actually go out and get paid. And they work only for MSPs. If you look here, right, we got QuickBooks and Zero, yes, but there's ConnectWise, there is, I don't even know who that is, SuperOps, Autotask, Datto, right? They are working specifically for MSPs to make sure that MSPs can get paid. That's important. We want to make sure that we can get paid as often and as soon as possible when we need it, so that way we can pay off our credit cards, our employees, the whatever rent you might owe, hopefully your utilities. All of those things are really, really important. Now, your PSA tool, right, professional services automation tool, can typically do some of that, but not to the degree that this platform can. So if you're like, Harrison, I already have SuperOps, or I already have whatever it is, right? That's fine. But Usually they can't do it to the degree that alternative payments is doing on top of ACHs and truly so many more options out there to get paid. So just keep that in mind, because the worst thing in the world is starting a business, saying, hey, I'm going to go make all of this money. And then you send out the invoices and then you just wait and it stinks. Trust me, I know. I have been there, and it's one of the key killers. If you waited this long in the video, you know the golden nuggets are always at the end. It is one of the true key killers of startup businesses, especially MSPs, because they're working and working and working and potentially paying for software and hardware and expenses and employees. And if they don't get paid, boom, they could tank pretty quickly. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again, where MSPs go out of business because they're doing everything right except the most important thing, which is getting paid. So I hope you found some value in this video. If you did, hit that like button, that subscribe button, that notification bell. If you're on the podcast and you enjoyed the podcast, hey, give it 5 stars. All of the videos turn into podcasts, and then I even do some podcast only episodes. So if you're interested in checking that out, once again, growth-generators.com, just hover over the resources area and you could jump into that over there. Other than that, I love the heck out of you guys. As always, I hope you're having an incredible start to your 2025. I have some incredible videos lined up for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.